Hello and welcome back to another One Piece video. So today I have Marco again for you guys. I know I did a video on him just last week testing out VV and Slave Arrow and how that engine runs, and it felt pretty good, but someone gave me the idea to try to run both engines. And so having VV and Ivankov in the same deck, you should be able to just replenish your resources really consistently. And then thanks to Ivankov coming back in, we no longer need the 3-cost Vista, and so that freed up some space for the Nami here. So I decided not to play Slave Arrow on top of all this just because I feel like it was redundant. Instead, I'm playing the one of Rush Luffy, and I found that he's really good at applying pressure. Like, really underrated card, and this card can help you single-handedly against like really annoying decks like Blackbeard, for example. Obviously it's not gonna make you like a winning matchup or anything, but it just helps like bounce the annoying Burgesses that can't be KO'd by your other effects. And obviously Ace comes back in the deck. I decided to run Ace again just or instead of the events, just because I feel like when I ran the events it felt a little lackluster, especially when you like play an event and then you don't have enough Dawn to really do anything else besides play down like a VV or Ivankov. Yeah, I felt that just having more bodies and more options in the late game just felt a lot better for me. So this is the list that I'm running right now. It feels pretty good. Let's just hop over to some gameplay and I'll show you how this thing runs. Okay, so first game I got for you guys, we're going to be going up against Blue Buggy. This time we're going to be going second against Buggy, and I feel like this is one of our harder matchups just because Buggy, one, likes to go first, but two, if they find that promo Buggy or the Mihawk and Crocodile from the new starter deck, it makes it really hard for us to compete with their board. And so I just wanted to show this game just because yeah, we were able to out resource him in the end thanks to like value cards like Nami and Ivankov. And so on his 3 Dawn turn here, typically they use it playing like Sanji's Pilaf or something. So swinging in 5, I decided to take. He actually didn't have the Pilaf here, so lucky for us. I think his decision or his decision making was to try to poke resources out of our hand. But obviously I just want to like save as much counter as I can for the more important bodies. And so here I just dropped down the Nico Robin. And so if he has like the promo Buggy, it's really bad for us. But if he has the Croc and Mihawk, at least we can drain a resource out of his hand with the Nico Robin. But he does have the promo Buggy, which neuters us just a little bit, just because Nico Robin now is unable to swing and use her ability. And so here I just swing in 6 at lead. Yeah, and then just playing down the Nami. And so here's really good for us because we have the 2 Rayleighs coming up. And then Rayleigh is really good into Buggy. So if you're able to play him on curve, you're able to, 1, disrupt his Croc and Mihawk play by just reducing it down to 4k power. And so it can't really apply too much. It can't apply too much pressure on you. And if he turns any body sideways, you can use that power reduction to pressure board as well. So he does have the Croc and Mihawk here. And honestly, it looks like we're in a really bad spot just because he has 8 cards in hand as well. But yeah, so I decide to turn my Nami sideways here in hopes to bait out the 7k swing from the Mihawk. And luckily for us, he takes the bait. And so thanks to the Rayleigh now, we should be able to pressure down that Mihawk pretty hard. And so yeah, probably just lowering the Mihawk, and I do. And then thanks to the Rayleigh, we're able to make his Kraken Mihawk a 4K power versus a 7K power. And so we were able to get a card out of his hand, thanks to the Rayleigh attempting to KO the Mihawk. And we were able to get the Mihawk off the board anyways, so really good for us there. But in terms of resources, we're looking pretty low. But this Luffy's going to be able to help us really get back into the game. And then also having another Rayleigh coming up, we're just going to have so many value plays that it's going to be hard for him to keep up. Yep, and so on his 9-Dawn turn, he actually can't just raw play down his Buggy. And so he was forced to use the Buggy so that we can't get too much pressure on board next turn. And so we're in a really good spot now where he swings 7 with his Kraken Mihawk. And then swinging 6, we're able to block with Nami and give him a 1K there. And then drawing into a Sanji with a Rayleigh and a Luffy setup, we're looking really poised to take over this game here. So I try to KO the Kraken Mihawk again. Obviously he's going to try to save him, but this swing is just going to get him off the board for us. And then now that he doesn't really have any threats on board, I decide to start swinging in with the Nami as well. So yeah, Rayleigh definitely being one of the key pieces to beat this deck. And then again, since he doesn't have a board, he uses the 10 cost Buggy in order to get rid of Rayleigh off the board. Obviously, he should have gotten rid of the Sanji, but I don't think that would have changed the course of this game at all. So yeah, I just let the Nami go. No reason to try to defend her here. And then I actually use the Rush Luffy here just so we can set up lethal. And then get the Robin back to our hand to use her as counter. And so we swing in with 8. And then swing in with another 8. And then with the 9, this forces him to have an answer next turn with both the bodies, which is really, really unlikely. And be able to put up a blocker if he doesn't want to die next turn. But he definitely just doesn't have the answer for this board at this point. I think we got like way too ahead. Yep, so he's forced to play the 10 cost Buggy again, getting rid of our Rush Luffy there. And then, yeah, this following turn, you can just load up one character. It doesn't matter if he hits the Sanji or leader here. So with only 2 cards left in hand, this 9K swing is guaranteed, and we should be able to end the game right here. Nice. So we were able to get a win from Blue Buggy. Okay, so next game I got for you, we're going to be going up against Red Zoro. Obviously, we're going to want to go second against this matchup just because Red Zoro, with that event to be able to cheat out a body, will be very, very strong turn 4 if he's able to develop like the 3 cost chopper and then leave 1 up for the event. But in this game, I really just try to hoard up on as many resources as I can, and then saving Mass Deuce for next turn. I believe I probably just play down the VV here, just because I want Mass Deuce to be able to help us get rid of 2 bodies instead of just 1 at the moment, and then VV just able to replenish our hand there, which is super nice. So swinging in 7 with the Luffy, obviously we're just going to take that one. And then this Rush Luffy is going to find a lot of value for us just because thanks to VV being an on play, we're going to be able to abuse her on play in the late game. Obviously just going to bottom deck that Sanji at this point, just because he's really not necessary anymore. Or sorry, not anymore, but not necessary in this matchup. And then thanks to a second VV, able to just load up our resources again, getting more counter for any aggression that he puts towards our life. But we're looking in a really good spot. I don't have a way to KO the chopper, but thanks to the rush Luffy, he actually is able to just constantly bounce that chopper for us every turn. So he's going to help us a lot with relieving pressure from this chopper here. And so he swings in 6 at lead. Probably take the first one because I only have one 2k in hand. And so yeah, I didn't want to waste the 2k in case he went for my mass deuce, just because we want to have as many swings on board as possible against his little bodies. And so here he probably just swings 6 at the mass deuce. Oh, he swings 6 at lead. Yeah, just an easy 2k for us. I think because we took the first 6k swing, he was just fishing to see if we had a 2k in hand. But yeah, looking in a really good spot now. So at 8 Dawn, just gonna drop down this Luffy, probably bounce up that Tony chopper. So ditching one of the Robins, just because now at this point Robin's not going to be played anymore, because her when attacking is just really good to develop her early game and then use her in the mid game. But in the late game, you're going to really just want to use like Namis and VVs to replenish her hand, and then obviously your top end pieces if you have them in hand as well. And so I swing in 8 into 5 here. If he gives that to us, we should be able to clear his board, thanks to Marco's leader ability, being able to reduce the hippo, I forgot his name, down to 2000 power, and then yeah, VV should be able to help us clear those as well. So I think I'm just gonna skip ahead here. And then yeah, this rush ace is going to be super nice as well, to be able to one, apply pressure, and also lower these bodies small enough for our like VV and mass deuce to help us deal with. And so swinging in 2 there, and then a 6 at lead. Probably just gonna get the draw for him, I imagine. Yeah, so he actually does take it, and him thinking about the trigger makes me think that what he drew was probably like a mole gun, or like a rad beam, but I don't think Zoros are playing rad beams anymore. And so he probably has a mole gun in hand. Which here, he probably could have used it to clear our Luffy, right? Because Mulgun reduces it by 5,000. Yeah, I think instead he values swarming his board over trying to deal with our tall bodies. Yeah, and so with 4 Dawn up, he can either choose to try to Mulgun our Luffy and swing into it, which we will be able to counter, or just keep on pressuring our life and forcing us to answer his board. But yeah, thanks to the ace, we should be able to clear his board pretty hard here. So yeah, 2 into his searcher. If he actually defends his searcher, I probably would have just... Oh, I actually played down the Nami here. That's totally fine. I think I was just afraid of dying. And so, yeah, this way I can try to... Yeah, I can try to force him to have an answer next turn for my blockers on board. And so here, swinging 8 into 6. Probably just ditching the Ivankov. Or pitching the ace. Okay. yeah, I think because maybe next couple turns I'm just going to be developing the blockers. And so here, yep, just able to constantly pressure his Luffy here, forcing him to give us either resources or keep that Luffy in hand or on the board. But yeah, obviously if that Luffy stays on board, he's not going to be too much of a threat because we're going to have 2 Namis developed to answer his swings. So he plays down the Tony Chopper here, trying to refill his board again, but I think at this point the writing's on the wall, right? We should be able to bounce him again thanks to the Rush Luffy, and then just use the VV and Nami in our hand to replenish resources. So Nami again. Yeah, probably just keeping the 2Ks just because next turn we should be able to end the match here. Yeah, probably going at lead with 8. And then reducing the Robson down to 2 and then swinging in with VV. That's definitely gonna go, and then probably swinging in, yeah, 5, 6. Honestly, at this point, I'm just forcing counter out of his hand. I'm not really aiming to put him down to 1 necessarily. So yeah, we were able to eat 2 2Ks out of his hand. And then thanks to Nami and VV, we're still able to have 3 2Ks left in hand afterwards. So yeah, I think there's just absolutely no way for him to come back. And we should be able to wrap it up in the next turn here. Yeah, him swinging in just a weird 8 there tells me he probably has like an unblockable Luffy, which he does. And so I guess even if I took that, I would have had enough counter to get out of this anyways. But definitely better to just make the safe play. So I start off with a 7K swing. And then since he countered, I probably just give him a 6K. Yep, and then loading up the Luffy there is more than enough to end the match. So able to get a win from aggressive decks like Zoro as well. Okay, so last match I got for you guys, we're going to be going up against Belo Betty. Belo Betty obviously being one of the other menaces of aggro. And so in this matchup, you really want to find stuff like Mass Deuce and Nico Robin, just because they're able to, one, swing into the small bodies, but also KO the standing bodies while they're at it. And so he swings in 8 at lead there. Obviously, we're just going to take. And then probably just developing the Monet and Duval. Yeah, because there's really no reason for us to try to pressure his life just yet. Our main goal is just to try to make it to the top end so that we outvalue his cards and just remove his board. And so another 8K, we're just going to take that again. And then thanks to the Mass Deuce, we should be able to apply a lot of pressure here. So swinging a 5 and popping the Kuma there. And then I probably use... Yeah, this is a misplay on my end. I definitely should have used the other Monet just because it would force him to answer 3 rested bodies with only 1 swing on board. Yeah, I should have been able to put him down to 2 there. And then with the amount of counter we have in hand, there's really no risk of us dying if he hit a trigger off of it. So he has the 2 Inazumas now. This is really his only... Yeah, his only setup. So it's really easy for us to survive this onslaught here. And so I just try to set up so that we can win next turn if he's unable to kill us this following turn. And yeah, thanks to the early VV, we were able to load up on a bunch of 2K counter. And he actually pitches the mold gun here. Maybe he has another one. So he pitches the mold gun, able to find himself a koala, the 2K one. and then finding another 2k koala from the Belo Betty. Okay, interesting. So I think, yeah, the Karasu into Mogun. He just had a second one. And so this is really good on him. Swing in 7 at my Monet. Maybe there was some merit to keep her alive, but yeah, I just didn't want to throw the game in case like he hits a lucky trigger here. Like if he gets a blocker or if he has counter in hand. So I start off with a 6k swing. He's able to block out of that one with a counter. And then I put him in the same spot as last turn where I put his bodies down super low and force him to either kill me or we kill him the following turn. And then looking at our hand, we have so much counter that there's really just no way for him to kill us this turn. And so yeah, I think his best swings are like 8, 8, 9, or yeah, 8, 8, 9. But yeah, we're able to counter out of the first one, and yeah, definitely able to counter out of another one as well, if he continued swinging at life there. So yeah, able to get a win off of Belo Betty as well. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I kind of like this more than what I made last week. I think having the option to play Vivi, Nami, and Ivankov just feels really good, just being able to draw a lot. And then obviously having all that draw lets you counter so that you can survive to drop big bodies like Rayleigh and then make your Sanji plays in the late game. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.